do it within 3 months.
Initially. Initially. I think our pointers were quite ambitious in thinking that 3 months would work. And in fact, that we immediately let them know that that was not doable. So initially we settled around like 7 months. We were appointed at the end of January, so effectively starting in February. The reason why our terms of reference could not be read the way you assumed was the parts asking us to talk to key stakeholders. And who are stakeholders when we're talking about the Constitution? But the citizens of the country. This Constitution was adopted by popular referendum in 1992. If you are going to change it in any significant way, you will have to go back to the people. Many of these things require that you go to a referendum. Some require that you go to the people's representative in parliament. So when our understanding of key stakeholders were essentially talk to Ghanaians again, right? And in the intervening period between 2011 and now, what we also reckoned with was that a lot has happened. A lot of water has gone under the bridge. As of 2011, we had not even had a single election petition. In the period since then, we've had 2.
Correct.
As of the time the report was presented, we had not had the experience of even a president dying in office and triggering the processes for succession. We've had that experience. These are all constitutionally significant developments, right? We had not had a hung parliament. We have since had one, and how it affects governance. We have never experienced, sovereign bankruptcy, and we've had one. There are provisions on finance in the Constitution that would be impacted by that experience. Provisions on a number of experiences, and even in our region,
cataclysmic experience
in our
so
region, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And look at what's happening in our region. The return of coup d'état, right? It's something in the background, but if you follow the chatter around it, if you follow the youth reaction to these things, democracy is on the ropes again in the region.
There's been the discussions about democracy backsliding.
Yes, so you have to take on board these developments that have happened since the first big report came. And then, of course, a new generation of, and when that report came, I think we were calling them millennials. Now we call them Gen Z, right? This is a new communities of, citizen activists using social media in very different ways to engage. So you cannot disregard these intervening developments and say, we're just going to lift this off the shelf and just sit down and read and harmonize and that kind of stuff. So we read our terms of reference, and without disagreement from our appointers, actually, because we did go back and say, look, you've been talking about a national constitutional conference. What exactly do you mean by that? And this is our understanding of it. This is how we think we will proceed to do that national engagement. And they said, fine, that's actually consistent with our thinking. So we didn't really stray from our terms of reference. Where we needed clarity, we went back to our clients and said, are we aligned on this one? This is how we are proceeding. And
the National Constitutional Conference would suggest to me that your appointer had in mind, of course, the first of the terms is look at the previous work that's been done. So your appointer had in mind, we need you to aggregate. The work is almost done. Just bring people together to one conference and sort of validate, and let's move on.
That's one interpretation. The other, which we said, we offered was, look, we want to disaggregate this national conference into a series of zonal engagements instead of bringing, citizens to Accra, which would mean essentially an assemblage of elites again. We would rather go to where the citizens are and engage them as the national conference, right? So we disaggregated the national conference into 10 zonal meetings. And we said, this is our approach. Is it aligned with your thinking? It says, absolutely. That's fine. That's one way of getting to the same end.
Okay.
So that's how we actually managed our terms of reference.